Amarrai Cabell is a genreless artist discovered by Cameron Cox and managed by Ellen Bloomin, and he's got a brand new single called Mean Thing, which was a number 4 trend on Twitter in Africa and was performed at over 10 radio stations. And he's got 3 SoundCloud number 1s in different countries with over 16.5 million SoundCloud plays, and he's now got 2 double silver plaques with his very little social media, and is now averaging about 10,000 likes a post on Medium, and he has over 4 million video views in just 2020 on Vimeo, the highest of any other artist. That's really impressive stuff, and he's with us now today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm not doing it. I'm doing all right. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I'm in the car right now.
All right, that's okay. Yeah, it's good that you're doing all right. So, first of all, your latest single, Mina Thing, what's that song about?
It's well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Like I just my love doesn't mean a thing, or just you might be talking to someone and you can't get your words out correctly to them, and you might feel like your words don't mean a thing to them.
Yeah.
And so
Is this inspired by personal events that have happened to you?
maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah. And then seeing that happen to like my friends and family.
Yeah. And how long did it take you to come up with the idea for the song and write it?
Well, we had the demo. Me and my friend had the demo ready. We made that in like a week, but then I had it on my MacBook for a year and I didn't release it. And then we went into a meeting with Deline and Cameron, and they liked it, and we decided to release it.
Yeah. And to record it, did that take quick time as well?
I did a lot of re-records of the song. Yes, I like perfection, so I re-recorded it like about 40 times, like just my vocals.
Yeah.
And I can't say how many times he re-recorded it, but I wanted it to be, because you only can release a song once, have to be right. And so yeah, I did re-record my vocals a lot of times.
Yeah, so I take it you're quite the perfectionist then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was trending at number 4 on Twitter in Africa, and it's had loads of hits on SoundCloud and everything. How have you managed to get all these hits? Is this just a lucky chance, or do you have good marketing?
More of just good team. I don't believe in luck.
Yeah.
But Aline helped a lot with the single release, and they debuted it on the biggest playlist on SoundCloud. And thank you to the curator if you're listening to this. Thank you to the curators. It's also still in the emerging indie playlist on SoundCloud, so you can stream it on there. And I just got love from a lot of the curators and bloggers, and I'm very blessed and grateful that everyone liked the song.
Yeah, how does it feel to get all this recognition and lots of people listening to your song? Because it must feel amazing, right?
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah. It feels good. It does. I want to reach people with my music. I want to help them through what they're going through. So that's good at the end of the day.
Yeah. Are any of your other songs performing well as well?
Oh yeah. Racism did well, and then Mel Privilege just went on dope lyrics. So shout out to Samuel. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of good traction in the last few months.
Yeah. And those songs, what are they about? Are they of a similar style to the other songs you've written?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they're kind of like mellowed and down tempo, alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. And you are a genreless artist. So does that mean that you like to mix it around a bit with all the different songs that you make?
Yeah. I don't like to be held down to one genre. I might want. I was just recording a country song the other day, but I like to make all genres. I don't really like to be held to one genre. I like to be really creative.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best way to do it, because you don't want to tie yourself down and restrict yourself if you want to experiment with all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you first start to get into music? Did you grow up in a kind of musical environment?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, I went to the library growing up in Minnesota when we were in Minnesota, and around the corner where I used to go there to listen to CDs, and I used to go there to listen to Kanye. So, it started when I was there, and then,
Yeah, that's quite interesting learning music at the library, because that's maybe not one of the typical places that you would kind of learn about music, right?
yeah, that is very interesting.
Yeah. Was there anyone in your family growing up that either played musical instruments or encouraged you to be musical?
My grandmother always encouraged me to be musical. I don't know if many people in the family were very like doing music, but
Yeah. And are there any other famous musicians that you admire and really look up to?
yeah, I look up to King Cruel and Jai Paul and Frank Ocean a lot, and
Yeah.
really just I like how they stay low key and make really good music and take their time with their art, and I admire their artistry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what would you say makes yourself different from those particular artists? Do you like to have your own style?
I It makes me different. I edit, write, produce all my songs. Like my latest music video,
Mm.
my latest visualizer, I edited and directed that myself. But you know, I just feel like that's just what makes me unique from different artists.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like you have a particular style in the music, either production or like lyrical? Do you have a writing style?
Kinda, kinda not sometimes, but yeah. I was watching a Phineas interview. I know he probably,
Mm.
but I was watching a Phineas interview. It's like every therapist has a therapist, and sometimes I just go and kind of I know I don't mean to make such sad songs sometimes, but it's just kind of like sometimes just kind of mellow and kind of just sad. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what is your creative process like from when you start thinking up a song? What do you do to get it recorded?
um, I sit in the studio and I sometimes I'm in Discord with some friends, and
Hmm.
I really just watch Game of Thrones and stuff, and
All
I
right.
just try to gas. I just try to gas it. So you're a big Game of Thrones fan?
No, I've never actually watched it, but it's
Um,
kind of interesting.
yeah, I like to watch a lot of sometimes I watch older movies, older TV shows,
Yeah.
and I like to watch Game of Thrones and stuff in the studio, and it inspires me.
Yeah. Does any of these movies or TV shows kind of make it into some of the song lyrics?
Sometimes yeah.
This is quite interesting. Do you have any examples?
Well, most of them are unreleased, sadly, but
Oh.
in Beautiful Boy, I mentioned the movie. I'm forgetting the name right now, but in
Yeah.
Beautiful Boy on Denver, I mentioned the that one movie. Why am I forgetting the name? But if anyone can go and find that reference, it's a very popular movie, kind of. But if anyone can find that reference,
Hmm.
I mentioned a very great movie in the Beautiful Boy. I do have a lot of movie references in some songs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's good to appeal to all sorts of fan bases of the movies, right?
yeah,
And you've also got another song you've released called Blow Away. What's that song about?
that was inspired by like recycling because like I was walking and I saw a lot of plastic on the streets and stuff,
Oh.
and that's really, but no, no, yeah, that's really what that was inspired by. Um, because I'm a big advocate of changing the climate
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, and uh, so yeah, but it's also just it's kind of a down tempo love song, and you know,
Yeah. Absolutely. So, does things like plastic and the whole climate change and the environmental issues worry you a lot?
yes, because if we don't change the way we live, we only will have like 5 years max. Like, so it's actually pretty scary. Some
Yeah.
of the video I've done.
Do you feel like you can make a difference with your music to try and spread a message? Because I mean, you're getting all these hits, so it's probably going to have some impact, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's our job as musicians to and influencers in general. We have to use our platform to make a difference, and talk about these things. And yeah, I do try to, I have been in the studio working on those type of songs. I do try to advocate for certain messages, and you know,
Yeah. Are there any other issues that you're also big on in your music?
I mean, just other than climate change, just feminism,
Yeah.
racism, and just
Yeah, and particularly racism is an ongoing problem in the world, but last year it was particularly relevant with police killings like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor coming to light. What was your take on that? Did you kind of use those events and write songs about them?
yeah, I wrote some songs, but I don't know if they'll get released. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I just kind of wanted to step away from social media for a minute, and
Yeah,
it kind of was heartbreaking there.
yeah, absolutely. Do you also feel like racism is an issue that can be tackled through music?
Um, it can help for sure. Music can definitely help the issue.
Yeah, and maybe it's a way of bringing people together because everybody loves music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any highlights since you've been making music that stand out to you? Big moments and events that you've enjoyed?
Um, a year ago, a few months ago, really just like what's been surprising me in these last few months is being able to collaborate with some of my favorite artists,
Yeah.
and not knowing that they actually knew about me or wanted to collaborate with me. Um,
Yeah.
like yeah, like I've been talking to some really cool artists. Shout out to the homie Nep,
Mm.
but yeah, um, yeah, just really been trying to meet some really cool artists and just been
Yeah.
texting and talking to some really cool people, and even if they're not artists, just like talking to you also, like you're really cool
Yeah.
too.
Well,
And it's
thank you.
just
Yeah. And how is collaborating with people working at the moment? Because we're in this whole coronavirus pandemic thing. Is it easy to work with people? Do you have to do it remotely, or can you kind of meet up with a few people?
um yeah, because see, I haven't been doing person to person studio sessions
Yeah.
like that. Everything is mostly like virtual studio sessions.
Mm.
uh I've talked with ideas with some musicians over Discord. I like to use Discord a lot, and
Oh yeah.
text messages, and just really like just trying to it's really hard because communication is key, and we're not really there in person, but just got to try to get through it. And um but yeah, it's just really virtual, like this, like right now, like Zoom, Discord. um
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Are you finding it harder to work with people online, or in a way is it a lot easier because you don't have to get up and travel somewhere?
yeah, yeah, in some ways it's easier, but then sometimes I feel like if I was with this artist, I could knock out like way more songs with
Yeah.
them in the studio.
Yeah, there's a kind of energy to being in a room with someone. You can get a vibe off them and kind of know what they're thinking without them saying it, I suppose, especially if you know someone really well.
Yeah.
And I suppose being stuck at home, have you had more time to write musics? Because I guess you wouldn't have been able to go out as much. So have you had time to write stuff and record stuff at home that you wouldn't have if we weren't in a pandemic?
Yeah, it's given me way more time to write and record at
Mm.
my home studio. And with the pandemic is it's very tough to sometimes you feel uninspired and don't feel like recording.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because you've written about many issues like racism and climate change, have you tried to incorporate the pandemic in any of your lyrics?
No, actually, I don't think I have yet.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Yeah, something.
maybe the next single, but
Yeah, just have to wait and see. Are you optimistic about things maybe getting better because we've got the vaccine now?
yeah, yeah, I'm optimistic. I've been trying to stay optimistic. Um,
Yeah.
and you look at places like New Zealand, their cases are really low. So,
Oh, yeah.
but
But then the trouble with New Zealand is that they shut their borders like a year ago. So, and places like the UK and USA, it's maybe too late unless we vaccinate
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of bounce around all sorts of genres. Do you have kind of favorite genres, even though you don't stick to one? Do you have ones that you prefer doing over others?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely prefer doing like pop alternative, you know, over other genres. Some, just because it's easier to.
Yeah, and I suppose you kind of have to stick to a few, because I'm assuming if you do pop type stuff, it'd be a little bit harder to do kind of alternative jazz type stuff. It's a world away.
Yeah.
So when you write songs, how do you get into that mindset? Are you playing at an instrument while you're writing, or do you just do the lyrics first and think about the musical bits later?
Well, sometimes I'm playing an instrument. Sometimes it's just about listening to old songs and getting inspiration, or listening to like instrumentals that producers send me,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and trying to write to something. Um, yeah, like I.
Mm. Yeah. And do you like to perform sometimes? Have you been able to do it? I guess you wouldn't have been able to in the last year, really, but have you been performing before this last year?
Um, we performed for some radio stations, and then um, yeah, like not doing any live venues really because
Yeah.
the pandemic. I was scheduling to do something, but then that pandemic happened, sadly. I do
Mm.
like to. I do. I just performed songs the other day just for your show, and those were actually exclusive just for your show.
Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah, and like I do like to do it, but we haven't done anything in person, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have favourite songs that you like to perform? Some that are maybe easier to do live than others?
Uh, I, I mean, Mina Thing, I like to perform.
Yeah.
Um, I, uh, I like to perform. I can't say unreleased. I've been kind of rehearsing some unreleased stuff. Um, I like to perform blow bags slash blow away. I like to really just perform mostly all my songs, but I say those two I performed today. Those two are really easier. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. And have you performed in front of an audience at all?
and other than my family, not really.
Uh, is that something that you'd be hoping to do once it's safe?
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose it'd be quite nice to get that instant reaction from the fans rather than having to wait until they hear a released album, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. Because it's yeah. I want to see the reaction to the music. So
Yeah. And who would you say your kind of fan base is? Because you do a mixture of genres, so is it hard to get fans for you? Because sometimes people like to listen to the one genre, so do you have fans that don't mind that you mix it about a bit?
well, I'm pretty sure that the real ones don't mind.
Mm.
I feel like because I was checking Reddit when I dropped the my last UK Britpop type single,
Yeah.
and I try not to check the comments, but I do like to see what people's feedback are, and I feel like sometimes it's kind of mixed, and so that is kind of
Mm.
difficult when you're like doing different genres because you kind of can't tell what they want you to do next, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of tough, and just kind of thing that I'll have to, study the fan base and do better at in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you like to do outside of music? Do you have another job, or is this what you do full time?
I really, well, this is kind of what I do full time, but I produce and songwrite for other artists
Yeah,
and help a lot of other artists, which is another reason why it takes a long time for me to work my own music sometimes. But
yeah.
I like helping other artists, helping other people. I'm trying to I'm working with someone on building a homeless shelter,
Oh wow.
and I don't know how that's gonna go. But yeah, I like to do a lot of charitable work. Like in the summer, I'm pretty sure we'll do a lot of like volunteer work, and then it's like I but yeah, I do music like full time.
Yeah, yeah. That's incredible stuff. And I've seen your Fiverr page as well. You offer writing hit songs for people and film soundtracks as well.
Yes, if anyone needs help with anything, I'm here.
Yeah,
I teamed up with Fiverr on that.
yeah. That's quite an interesting thing. Do you enjoy doing film soundtracks then?
Um, well, I only ones that I've done was Ghost, and I can't say who I helped with that.
No.
But I mean, it's cool. Like, and I mean, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I suppose. And are there any people that you can mention that you've written songs for?
Um, I worked with John Mayer's brother, Ben Mayer,
Oh,
and I've worked with a lot of artists. Um, Most of the songwriting I do is ghostwriting, sadly. So I'm
oh,
in like a Quentin Miller situation to where I can't really say
all
uh,
right.
who I help. But I'm working this year on doing less ghostwriting and like getting credits on the stuff that I've written.
Yeah. Yeah, ghostwriting must be quite annoying, especially if the stuff you've written goes on to do quite well.
Yeah, but it's cool though. It's all love.
Yeah. Do you ever have moments where you just don't feel like writing a song, get a bit of writer's block, or just aren't getting any inspiration?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially in the pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
I just throw on an old movie or something, or catch up on TV and or play the game. Really,
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
just
That's the way to do it. And does that always work for you?
well, yeah, it helps a lot. Yeah, for me, it helps. It helps a
Yeah.
lot, and I like listening to the Beatles a lot in the studio too.
Oh,
And
nice.
one of the things I'll come back around. Like it's just a rotation. I don't know what works for other artists. I can't say it works. I know a lot of
Hmm.
artists. It's just songwriting is really hard, but I just sometimes my brain just needs a break, and I'll just
Yeah.
get up and make some cappuccino and just stay up late and just try to get back to the grind.
Yeah,
Just,
absolutely. I think a lot of people would say it's best to leave it, I suppose, and that works for them, just to leave it and come back. But then I suppose it can be hard if you're on a tight schedule to finish an album.
yeah, that could be very hard.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the Beatles movies? Because you like watching movies and like listening to the Beatles, so I wonder if you've crossed the two.
I I think I've seen one of them.
Mm, yeah, interesting. Well, do you have any more songs coming out in the future?
Yes, yes, for sure. I have a ton of songs working on right now. They're just joint singles, so they're with other artists.
Oh,
And
nice.
I need really I'd like to have Aline listen to the songs I work on before I drop them. I just want to know if she likes them.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm pretty sure we'll have some new music coming out here soon. I don't know how soon, but I have to talk to Aline and because I like to have her help me schedule release dates.
Yeah, that's good. And when you do release that music, where are we able to listen to all your music online and find it even in real life in person as well?
Um, Spotify and Apple Music and Audio Mac.
Yeah.
SoundCloud. Um, yeah, mostly all the streaming services. Um, I don't have any. You said in person. I don't have any vinyl yet, but um, we have actually been, and I've been in talks with some companies. I don't know if we'll get any vinyl soon. No, I can't promise any vinyl
Ooh, that's
or
exciting
anything like
though.
that. Yeah, that is exciting. That is.
Yeah. And are you on social media as well for us to keep up with any new releases you've got coming or just general announcements?
I'm on Medium, but not really that social.
Mm.
But you can DM me like I'm on TikTok. Oh, actually, I had to turn off my DMs, but soon I'll turn back on my TikTok DMs. And I am on TikTok. Um, and then you can always shoot me a DM on Instagram. My DMs are open. I read DMs, but I don't accept too many follow requests unless I know the person.
Yeah.
And my Twitter is private also, but I am on TikTok. We did a few viral collabs with Arrow.
Oh,
Um, and then so yeah, I'm on TikTok. I have to turn off my TikTok DMs,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. It's been great talking to you.
yeah, it's great talking to you too.